Ladies and gents, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube.com. It is Friday, June 3rd, 2020. We are 2 days removed from AEW Fyter Fest night number 1. And I said I was doing a rewind, and here we are, ladies and gents. If you do not already know this announcement, a no lightning flash update tomorrow. I am going to be working, and I want to just spend some time with my family, but I do have a plan. Considering that the Great American Bash is taking place over 2 weeks as well, I am planning on doing a rewind for Great American Bash night number 1. That is going to be up tomorrow. I will keep you guys updated on that. But I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to the rewind for AEW Fyter Fest night number 1, which took place from Daly's Place down in Jacksonville, Florida, 2 days ago on Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. So, we got 5 matches to go over. A lot of great stuff happened, and I will even go so far as to say, for my opening thoughts, that Fyter Fest night 1 was better than Double or Nothing. I think they actually did an excellent job with Fyter Fest Night 1, and it was an eyelash away from being flawless. Obviously, I got some criticisms, I got some questions to ask, and I am trying to think where they go from here as far as certain storylines and feuds go. We're going to talk about that, but first things first, thank you everyone who's watching right now. I greatly appreciate it. It really does mean a lot. We are actually doing very, very well still. You know, I really thought that a lot of people were actually falling out of love with professional wrestling based on everything that's been going on in the world right now. Not just with wrestling, but just with culture, the culture itself. And, you know, every time you look on the media, there's always something going on. So I figured that a lot of people were just falling out of love with professional wrestling. But you guys actually have been kicking ass here with the DJ Storms brand. The rundown with Earl Cole for Fyter Fest Night 1, or Fyter Fest in general, not just Night 1 and Night 2, but in general, the rundown for Fyter Fest, that's almost at 200 views. You guys did awesome there, so I greatly appreciate it. My top 5 favorite Undertaker matches that didn't do as well, that only did about 120, but I would say that for a special edition video that just came out of nowhere because of a challenge made by Joseph Conlon, shout out to him, that actually did very well as well, as did the Lightning Flash update from last week. But we're here to talk about Fyter Fest Night 1. First things first, please go follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Please follow me on Instagram and Periscope at TheDJStorms. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is stormstakeover@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse on Facebook, that is. The Facebook group, not the fan page. All links are in the description. If you missed the Lightning Flash update from last week, link is in the description. Please, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already done so. It helps a lot. It takes 2 seconds. It literally requires no energy whatsoever. All I need you guys to do is hit the thumbs up. I need you guys to hit that thumbs up. I need you guys to help me there. Hit the thumbs up, please. Hit the thumbs up so we can get this video out there in the recommendations for all types of content regarding Fyter Fest. You guys already know the drill. Hit that like button. It helps out a lot. It gets my name out there. It gets the brand's name out there. Hit the like button. Try and get this video to 30 likes, I would say. The rundown exceeded 30 likes. We're going to see if this video can exceed 30 likes as well. So hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Please comment down below. Keep the chat alive as well. I want you guys to give me your thoughts on Fyter Fest, what you guys thought of it, and where you think they're going to go further into the summer, going into All Out. And when you comment and you keep that chat alive, you need to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Again, we're on the road to 2,100. We're this close. Again, I'm a greedy son of a bitch. We have been doing good here and there. Sometimes we have a little bit of a fallback. YouTube likes to purge subscribers because YouTube is a sucky site. It really is a dying breed. But regardless of that, I'm still here. So I need you guys to go and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And when you subscribe, you got to hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. The only time when you pop up on YouTube and you can see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to see some of this? Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. Well, ladies and gentlemen, enough of the self-brand promotion, enough of the advertisements. Let's get straight into the match. We got 5 matches to review. We did have a promo segment on Fyter Fest Night 1 before the main event, which we'll talk about, and I will give you my thoughts on them announcing Fight for the Fallen. So, the show started off with MJF and Wardlow versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. And MJF, of course, he took the microphone. Of course, he was going to say a few things before the matchup. Every single time Maxwell Jacob Friedman takes the microphone, it's fucking gold. He called Luchasaurus a dino douche. He said, dino douche is green, and I'm not talking about the color of his tongue. MJF's a fucking national treasure. He said we're in a ratings war, and what better way to boost the ratings than with Maxwell Jacob Friedman? So then Jurassic Express came out, and we got into it. So, MJF and Wardlow, they isolated Jungle Boy, strategic heel tactics. We had shots behind the referee's back before Luchasaurus got the hot tag. Big discus knee on MJF, barrage of kicks to Wardlow. We had a back and forth strike fest between Wardlow and Luchasaurus. I love the back and forth between Wardlow and Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy with 2 suicide dives and a big tope con here on MJF. Wardlow tried to take out Jungle Boy, but Jungle Boy countered with a big kick to Wardlow, and Luchasaurus came out of nowhere with a huge tope. It almost looked like he missed it, but he recovered quite nicely. We had a beautiful reverse Hurricane Rana on Wardlow. Wardlow spiked on his neck. We had a big power bomb to MJF after MJF took out Jungle Boy. MJF rolled through, hit a super kick on Luchasaurus, and all 4 men are down. Stunt. He came in, he got tossed into Jungle Boy by Wardlow, and this is where I thought that Wardlow and MJF were actually going to win. Wardlow with a beautiful Swanton bomb to Luchasaurus 4-2. Wardlow, he can fucking move. Wardlow can move. Wardlow is not a stiff guy. Wardlow's not a stiff guy. You know, he may look like a guy, when you initially take a look at him, you're like, oh, this guy's a standard big guy. He's not going to do anything, just standard power moves. But Wardlow, he can move. Wardlow, he can move. So, MJF got the Dynamite Diamond ring, and he was about to hit Wardlow, but stopped himself. Then Luchasaurus actually pushed MJF into Wardlow, and Wardlow got hit with the Dynamite Diamond ring. Jungle Boy took out MJF. We had a big swinging DDT, a big knee, and a standing moonsault on Wardlow, and Jurassic Express actually get the win. This was an excellent tag team match. You could not have started off the show any better. This was the best possible way to begin Fyter Fest Night 1. You put these 4 guys out there, and they gave you an excellent tag team match. And to be quite honest with you, I was a little shocked. I was a little shocked when Jurassic Express actually came out victorious, but I actually started thinking to myself a little bit. Well, MJF and Wardlow have been getting the better of Jurassic Express for weeks and weeks and weeks now. Wardlow beat Luchasaurus last week. MJF beat Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing. And they've just been winning and winning and winning. Wardlow and MJF have been on a roll as of lately. So realistically speaking, Jurassic Express, they needed a big win. Jurassic Express, they have been winning this year, yes, but they've been put in a lot of big matches, and almost every big match that Jurassic Express have been a part of, they've lost this year. So realistically speaking, Jurassic Express was in need of a big win. And at the end of the day, you know, Jurassic Express, they needed this win. And Wardlow and MJF, they have been gaining so much momentum as of lately that one loss isn't really going to hurt them. And on top of that, MJF was not pinned. So MJF, his case as to why he should be vying for the World Championship come all out, that's still valid. Wardlow was the one that took the pin here. And I don't mind that Wardlow took the pin here. Jurassic Express get the win. MJF was not pinned. So at the end of the day, even though I called MJF and Wardlow to win, whereas they were going to continue MJF's momentum should he have won, I can't really complain after a match like that. The match was excellent. I can't really complain after a match like that. I can't complain about Jurassic Express winning, considering they've needed a big win this year. And again, MJF was not the one that took the loss. So at the end of the day, Jurassic Express, they gain momentum. They gain a much-needed win. A much-needed win that I believe is definitely going to help them in the future, because I believe that they're going to be tag team champions by the beginning of 2021. At the end of the day, nothing really to complain about. Now, they have been teasing MJF and Wardlow coming out victorious. Or not coming out victorious, splitting up, excuse me. They've been teasing MJF and Wardlow splitting up. And to be quite honest, I don't really know why they've been doing that. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all. I would keep MJF and Wardlow together for the next couple years. Now, the reason why I say that is because of the fact that Wardlow is an excellent performer. Wardlow is great. Wardlow is so fluid. Wardlow can work in the ring. However, right now, there's a lot of guys who are ahead of him. And I can't really see Wardlow becoming a singles champion in AEW as we speak. Not even in the next year. Wardlow right now, he is just a great wrestler that's MJF's bodyguard. So, if you want to get some good use out of Wardlow in a championship title picture, I would keep them together, because after MJF eventually loses the world championship, he's the next world champion, undoubtedly. There's no way that you can't put the world title on MJF. He beats Jon Moxley, then he loses it to whoever in 2021, does MJF. After MJF eventually loses the world championship, I definitely would not mind seeing Wardlow and MJF in the tag team division as tag team champions. If you want to put a championship on Wardlow, you could definitely put him and MJF in the tag team title hunt, and they could win the tag team titles somewhere down the line. They could very well be the team that takes the titles off the Young Bucks. If you want to, the next 4 tag team champions, you have the Dark Order take the titles off of Kenny and Hangman at All Out. That sparks the Kenny and Hangman feud. Then you can have Jurassic Express win the titles from the Dark Order in 2021. Then FTR takes the titles off of Jurassic Express. Then we get Young Bucks and FTR in the main event of a pay-per-view for the World Tag Team titles, and the Young Bucks finally win the titles, and then you can have MJF and Wardlow go after the Young Bucks and take the titles off of the Young Bucks. Great babyface team, great heel team. And then, after Wardlow and MJF eventually lose the tag team titles, then you could build towards the breakup, then you can branch out Wardlow into a single star. Wardlow, he's going to go places, but right now, I can't see him factoring into any singles championship title feuds, storylines right now. Right now, no singles feuds, no singles championship storylines. I would not break them up. I would not break Wardlow and MJF up. I can definitely see Wardlow and MJF as tag team champions one day down the line. But this was an excellent match. Jurassic Express get the win. I had no problem with it. MJF was not the one that was pinned. And MJF, it really didn't affect his momentum that much, because MJF, he wasn't pinned. So he still has a valid case of why he should be challenging for the World Championship. And I do believe that that's what we are going to get at All Out come September. Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, I have stated before that I hated the way that they went about giving Penelope Ford this championship match. I did not like it at all. They put her in a tag team match with Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida, and Kris Statlander, and they had Penelope Ford pretty much just go out there and pin Hikaru Shida in a tag team match after she just lost to Kris Statlander at Double or Nothing. So realistically speaking, it was kind of a WWE main roster-like move. Penelope Ford, yes, she was getting a few wins on Dark here and there, but she really wasn't in any credible position to be fighting for the World Championship in the women's division. I actually thought that they were going to give Nyla Rose a rematch, considering that she's still the number 1 ranked women. They were going to give Nyla Rose a rematch against Hikaru Shida, and that's how Hikaru Shida was going to build her Women's World Championship title reign, with a win over Nyla Rose. But they didn't do that. They elected to have Penelope Ford pin Hikaru Shida, even though it wasn't clean, and Hikaru Shida didn't necessarily look weak. She got hit with the championship belt, so she kind of got cheated out of a win. But regardless, it was still very WWE main roster-like. So I did not like the way that they went about giving Penelope Ford this championship match. However, this match was very, very, very good. I would go so far as to say this was Penelope Ford's best performance in AEW to date. Both women did an excellent job. And you really got to give these women credit because they went on after an excellent tag team match between MJF, Wardlow, and Jurassic Express. After a tag team match like that, it's very, very tough. Very, 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 very tough for them to go out there and follow up with another very good match. This was a tough spot for the women to fill, but the women, they delivered in this match. This was very good. Shida, she went right after Ford with a huge knee after the ref actually ejected Kip Sabian, and Kip Sabian took Hikaru Shida's kendo stick with him. He actually smoked it a little bit, acted like he was smoking a cigarette. So that was actually going to play into a factor later on in the matchup. So Shida went right after Ford, big rising knee strike. Ford was able to take over control, but Shida, she came back, draped Ford over the apron and hit a big running knee. Back handspring, elbow, punt kick, and German suplex for a 2 going into commercial. Coming back from commercial, Shida mounted a comeback, big enziguri, but Ford countered with a very nice punt kick. Ford actually has a very nice punt kick. Big backbreaker by Shida for a 2. Shida hit the Falcon Arrow, but she took too much time. Ford actually got a surprise roll-up for a very, very close 2 count. There were some very good near falls in this match. Ford, she was able to dodge a missile dropkick by Shida with the bridge back, the Bray Wyatt spider walk bridge back that she does. She dodged a missile dropkick that way. I actually thought that was a very nice dodge. Then we had a big stunner by Penelope Ford for a 2. Sabian ran in when Penelope Ford went to the outside and she was distracting the ref. She wanted to bring in the championship. This was probably part of their strategic plan. Sabian ran in, and Sabian, he went to hit Shida with the kendo stick, but Shida, she dodged it. She gave Kip Sabian a nice slap, sent the kendo stick flying. She got the kendo stick and just uncorked the fucking homer on Kip Sabian. It wasn't as bad as the one that she uncorked on Nyla Rose. That was fucking brutal when she uncorked it right here, but it was still pretty bad. So Kip Sabian was taken out. Ford came in out of nowhere with a beautiful lethal injection for a very close 2 count. I actually thought Penelope Ford was actually going to win the title right then and there. But Penelope Ford did not win the championship. Penelope Ford actually missed a moonsault. She went to follow up and she missed the moonsault. Ford got caught with 2 knees, one to the back, one to the front, and then a second Falcon Arrow, but she still kicked out. And you can tell that they made Penelope Ford look really, really good in this match. They made Ford look very, very strong in defeat. So after that, Shida said, all right, you know what? You kicked out of 2 knees, you kicked out of the Falcon Arrow, fuck this. You're not kicking out of a 3rd knee. Big Shining Wizard by Hikaru Shida, and that was it. Hikaru Shida retains the AEW Women's World Championship in a very, very good match. The women's division slowly coming together very, very nicely. They've been doing some very good stuff this year. I actually thought that this was Penelope Ford's breakout performance. This is a performance that's definitely going to make Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford, one day, she's going to be champion. She will be champion in due time, but for now, Hikaru Shida retains the championship. She starts off her Women's World Championship reign with a very good first title defense. Where do they go from here? Well, we got Nyla Rose in action next week. We got Fight for the Fallen in 2 weeks. I can definitely see Nyla Rose getting the win in a very standard academic match next week. And I can see Nyla Rose challenging Hikaru Shida at Fight for the Fallen in a rematch from Double or Nothing. And that's going to be Shida's second title defense. But this was a very good Women's World Championship match. Props to both women. Shida did fantastic. Penelope Ford did fantastic. And that's pretty much all I could ask. Cody versus Jake Hager for the TNT Championship. Now, a lot of people were questioning why this match was taking place. So, Jake Hager came out. Jake Hager came out after Cody's title defense against Mark Quinn, and Cody pretty much said, hey, you want a TNT Championship match at Fyter? You got it. So, people were questioning why Jake Hager was getting this opportunity at Fyter Fest, and I was questioning it at first, but then the wheels in my head started turning, and I started thinking to myself, Jake Hager, he came into AEW, and he was pretty much just looked at as Chris Jericho's bodyguard in the Inner Circle. He was the heavy of the Inner Circle. Then, he made his debut against Dustin Rhodes at Revolution in a very good match. Very good match. And he was being built up very, very nicely. He was being built up in a legitimate storyline, a storyline where you could take him seriously. You could take him seriously as a legitimate contender for a world championship, and they were building him up against Moxley. Then we got the match. We got the match between Moxley and Hager. And it was horrible. And it wasn't Jake Hager's fault. It wasn't Jon Moxley's fault. It was management's fault. Because management produced that match horribly. That match went 30 minutes, and it was a mirror image of what Edge and Orton did at WrestleMania. It wasn't good at all. It was atrocious. And after that, people soured on both Jon Moxley and Jake Hager. Again, not their fault. It was management's fault. So Tony Khan obviously have seen the backlash. Tony Khan saw the backlash from this, and he wanted to give those two redemption matches. And he gave Moxley his redemption match. Moxley's redemption match came against Brody Lee at Double or Nothing. And that was a great match in its own right. And people weren't souring on Jon Moxley anymore. People were souring on Jake Hager. Jake Hager's very good, but all it takes is one. All it takes is one little slip up, and everyone's going to sour on you. Trust me, I know. Everyone sours on you after one minor slip up. Everyone is going to be on you. Everyone is waiting for you to fail. Everyone is waiting for you to fuck up just once so they can use that as fuel and just get on you and on you and on you and on you until you pretty much can't take it anymore. Because they can't take responsibility for their own failures, because the world fucking sucks. People fucking suck. But Jake Hager, he was soured on after that match. Contrary to popular belief, this match was not about the TNT Championship, even though it was for the TNT Championship. It wasn't about the TNT Championship. It wasn't about Cody. It was about Jake Hager. This was Jake Hager's redemption match. This was Jake Hager's match to redeem himself after that terrible match with Moxley. And you know what? I would say Jake Hager has redeemed himself. This was a very, very nice, old-school wrestling match. Nothing over the top, no crazy high spots, no blood, just two people going out there and having a straight-up wrestling match, and it played up to Jake Hager's strength. And at the end of the day, that's all we got. It was a very nice, old-school wrestling match. The pacing was very, very nice. Both men did a very nice job, and at the end of the day, we got a great TNT Championship match. And Jake Hager, you know, if you're still shitting on Jake Hager, you're just doing it to be cool. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And let me tell you something. You're not cool. You're not funny. You're not smart. You're just a fucking idiot. I don't think anyone should be shitting on Jake Hager after this match. So Jake Hager, he took over control with a big German suplex on the floor. He went to attack Arn, and he got his hands on Arn. Cody went to save Arn, but Cody caught a German suplex on the floor going into picture-in-picture. Cody, he got caught up with a sleeper. Cody mounted a comeback. Big power slam for a 2 on Jake Hager. Hager with a very nice Hager bomb for a 2. Hager went for another Hager bomb, but Cody got his feet up. Big reverse DDT. Cody went up to the top rope, but Hager with a huge belly-to-belly throw off the top for a 2. Hager with an ankle lock on Cody, but Cody was able to get to the ropes, and when the ref was backing up Hager's wife, Catalina, cracked Cody right across the face. Big slap by Catalina. And then Dustin Rhodes came out. He came out, turnabout's fair play. Dustin Rhodes gave Hager a nice punch. Hager, he was going to get caught in a crossroads, but Hager was able to fight out of it. Hager hooked the arm, big Uranagi. He was going to transition. He was going to transition into the head and arm choke, and he did, but Cody, and I love this finish. I love the sequence here. Hager reversed the crossroads. Hager hooked the arm into the Uranagi, but Cody rolled Hager over as Hager had the head and arm triangle choke. Cody rolled Hager over into a leverage pin for the win, and Cody retains the TNT Championship, and then afterwards, Jake Hager actually struck and knocked out a referee. So we actually got a storyline building there. I'm assuming that Jake Hager is going to receive quote-unquote punishment per storyline. But this was a very, very nice old-school wrestling match. The pacing of this match was very, very nice. Hagar went in there. He brought it. Cody brought it. Very, very, very nice TNT Championship match. The TNT Championship is being built up very, very, very nicely. The prestige of the TNT Championship has risen immensely. Cody's been doing a great job. Now, I don't really know where Hagar or Cody goes. I can definitely see Cody getting back into title defenses, probably at Fight for the Fallen. I would take next week off if I was Cody, and that seems as though what they're going to do. I definitely don't mind Cody taking a few weeks off, defending the TNT Championship every single week. He's already had 4 title defenses. 4 title defenses, a little bit of a break would be fine. I definitely wouldn't mind it. But this was a very nice wrestling match. Straight up, again, nothing overwhelming, no crazy eye spots, no blood, no overproduction, just 2 guys going in there and wrestling. And that's pretty much all you can ask for at the end of the day. Very nice match. Cody retains the TNT Championship. I can definitely see Cody losing the championship to Darby Allin. They did have a Darby Allin promo. I'm not sure when Darby Allin's coming back. I hope he's coming back soon, because I would fucking hate to see Darby Allin just get passed by someone else. When you're not there, you know that someone else could very well take your spot. And I really don't want to see Darby Allin get shafted, because I think Darby Allin beating Cody for the TNT Championship would be the best possible story that you can tell. Darby Allin beats Cody. Darby Allin goes into 2021 as the TNT Champion, and he could drop it to Brody Lee. And Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, and Evil Uno, they could have a hostile takeover of All Elite Wrestling with the Dark Order holding the tag titles and the TNT Championship. Private Party versus Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. This was another great tag team match, but out of all the matches on the show, I would probably have to say that this was the weakest. Not to say that this was a bad match, because it was great, but it only went about 11 minutes, and it really did set up a match that was to come next week, which came out of nowhere, and a lot of announcements came out of nowhere towards the end of Fyter Fest Night 1. Private Party and Santana and Ortiz. Before we get into those announcements, so Before this match, Orange Cassidy actually came out. And Jericho was on commentary the entire night. Cassidy, he went over by the announce table and he didn't do anything. He didn't put a headset on. He just took a chair, put his feet up on the table. And Jericho's just sitting there and he's looking like he's about to fucking blow a gasket. He's looking like a vein's going to pop out of his head. He's like, no, that's next week. I'm calm. So he's taking a shot at Orange Cassidy at every single twist and turn. And Orange Cassidy's just sitting there. And this is what I fucking love about this feud. Orange Cassidy doesn't have to do a thing. Orange Cassidy's just sitting there with his feet up. He's not saying anything. He's got his sunglasses on. He's not even moving his mouth. He's not even opening his mouth. And Jericho's just looking at him like, I just can't stand this guy. I want to punch this guy in the face. Obviously, we know what happened prior, but I love how Cassidy doesn't have to do a thing, and Jericho's just losing his fucking mind. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find that fucking hilarious. So then we had Private Party and Proud and Powerful. Private Party was being accompanied by Matt Hardy, and I do actually love how they're using Matt Hardy, even though he's an active competitor. I like how they're using Matt Hardy as an enhancer towards Private Party as a way to really put over Private Party as their manager, since the Hardys were an influence on Private Party. I like how they're using the older talent in AEW to really help the younger talent get over. Like they're using Jericho to help get Orange Cassidy over, help get Darby Allin over. They're using Matt Hardy to help get Private Party over. I like what they're doing there. That's a very nice move from All Elite Wrestling. They know how to use the veterans. That's the best part about it. They're not pushing the veterans into the World Championship scene at every single twist and turn. They are putting them in scenarios where they are going to help the younger talent get over in the end. And that's something that I can really appreciate. Private Party versus Proud and Powerful. So we had some swift double team moves from Proud and Powerful. They isolated Cassidy in the beginning portions of this matchup. Quinn, he was on the receiving end of a lot of double team moves from Santana and Ortiz. So Cassidy got the hot tag. He came in. Big springboard cutter to Ortiz. Big tornillo over the top. And this was actually a very nice spot here from Proud and Powerful. I love the innovation on the double team moves from Proud and Powerful. So Santana, he got mule kicked into a roll through, a backwards roll through by Ortiz into a cutter on Cassidy, and Cassidy sold it like he broke his neck. We had an excellent flurry by Santana and Ortiz, powerbomb from the middle rope. Backwards facebuster, alley-oop facebuster, onto the turnbuckle, into the cannonball, senton. Beautiful combination there by Proud and Powerful. Big backbreaker on Ortiz, and then Santana was on the receiving end of the gin and juice for the win. Great tag team match. Set up next week's tag team title match very, very nicely. And then afterwards, Cassidy went over to Jericho. And Jericho started throwing the drinks at him. He threw a drink at Cassidy. And Cassidy, he didn't even look at Jericho. He just got up. He started walking away. Jericho was trying to get past Tony Schiavone and Excalibur and Jim Ross. He was trying to go after Orange Cassidy. And then we had like 6 or 7 guys holding Jericho back. Cassidy had his arms at his side. Cassidy was calm as ever. And he had a little smirk on his face. And Jericho was just being held back by like 4 people pointing at Cassidy going, next week! So I found that hilarious. Again, the fact that Cassidy doesn't need to do anything. He didn't need to do anything. He didn't even look at Jericho. And Jericho's losing his fucking mind. So it was announced that Private Party, they will be facing the winners of the tag team title match next week. Obviously, we got Janela and Lance Archer. Obviously, we got the 8-man tag between FTR, the Young Bucks, Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Bros. We got Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Nyla Rose will be in action. We have the Dark Order, specifically Stu Grayson, Brody Lee, and Colt Cabana taking on SCU. And then in 2 weeks, they actually announced Fight for the Fallen for July 15th. And Moxley will be defending the AEW World Championship against Brian Cage at Fight for the Fallen. And then afterwards, we actually had a promo with Taz and Brian Cage. And Taz was like, a lot of people were expecting us to be mad over what took place. And like, no, we're not mad. So, Moxley tested twice, actually. Twice negative for COVID. And, of course, Taz, obviously have to take a shot at the other company. We don't run a sloppy shop. And it's a well-deserved shot. And if you're mad at that shot, then you're the fucking problem with the community. All right, I'm just pointing that out there. That was a well-deserved shot. Because WWE wants to act like COVID doesn't exist. They don't want to test their individuals. And then we got dozens of wrestlers testing positive, including Renee Young. And then WWE wants to go out of their way, and they want to be unhappy with Renee Young announcing that she has COVID-19. They want to act like COVID doesn't exist. Oh, it's just the flu. It's just the flu. They want to act like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Meanwhile, you got people wearing masks. Everywhere you go. All these events getting shut down. All of these restaurants, small businesses getting shut down. The economy's shit. You want to act like it doesn't exist, right? Sure you want to act like it doesn't exist? Because you're operating out of the performance center. No one's there. There's no audience members there. Except for the PC recruits. So obviously Taz is great. Taz is great. He actually said that, you tested negative for COVID twice, but you have come down with the case of the chicken shits. Let it be known I love Taz. I love Taz. And the partnership with Brian Cage, love it. Absolutely love it. And, as great of a promo that this was, you really got to respect Tony Khan. You really got to respect Tony Khan because he has been operating a very, 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 very good company backstage. The backstage morale is very, very high. And you know that Tony Khan, he genuinely cares about his employees. Moving the world title match 2 weeks later, even though Moxley tested negative twice, and he's quarantined in separate rooms away from Renee Young, you really got to respect Tony Khan for taking extra precaution. He really does care about his employees. AEW is the place to be right now. Creative freedom, great matches, everyone's getting an opportunity, and Tony Khan genuinely gives a shit about you. So at the end of the day, if you're shitting on Tony Khan and you're shitting on AEW, like I don't understand how anyone can shit on Tony Khan and they can shit on AEW and they want to bring up these lame-ass excuses like all they're doing is taking shots at WWE, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Tony Khan, he donated $1 million to COVID relief. He's doing Fight for the Fallen to support the fight against COVID. And he is taking extra precaution with Moxley, quarantining him, for an extra 2 weeks, testing him, tested negative twice, and he's still not having Moxley defend the title against Brian Cage at Fyter Fest. Instead, it's moved to Fight for the Fallen. And, we got a great match to Fight for the Fallen. Got a big match to Fight for the Fallen. So at the end of the day, you can't fault Tony Khan at all. I don't understand how anyone can shit all over Tony Khan after that. Extra precaution. You really got to respect the guy. So I actually love the announcement of Fight for the Fallen. I didn't think they were going to do it directly after Fyter Fest. But you know what? I don't really have an issue. I actually thought that they were going to do it in August. But you know what? I can't really complain. So, Moxley versus Cage. That's in 2 weeks. And then in the main event, we had Kenny and Hangman Adam Page versus the Best Friends. And I actually like what they're doing here. They're teasing the breakup of Kenny and Hangman even more. They're teasing the breakup, and they're putting Hangman out there in situations where he really feels like a legitimate heel. So Kenny and Hangman, they faced off against the Best Friends for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They were actually accompanied by Sue. I believe that was Chuck Taylor's mom, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if it was Chuck Taylor's mom or Trent's mom, but regardless, one of their moms, Sue. So that was actually pretty cool right there. Them driving up to the ring. So Paige and Omega, they were in control. They were able to isolate Trent. Swift double team moves. We had a nice swinging DDT to Kenny right on the crown of his head. Chuck Taylor got the hot tag. Big Tope Con Hero taking out both men. Trent with a huge suicide dive to Kenny. And then he actually tossed Kenny into Chuck Taylor. And Chuck Taylor with a big belly-to-belly overhead throw into Hangman Page did Kenny go. Kenny over the top. Huge belly-to-belly throw. Kenny went right into Hangman Page. Hangman Page was in a seated position by the barricade. Looked brutal there. Kenny Omega came back with a big fisherman brainbuster for a 2 count. Snapdragon suplex to the Best Friends. Before these Snapdragon suplexes, Chuck Taylor actually spiked Kenny on his head with a big pile driver. I'm not sure if Kenny just sold it like he got killed, but this was fucking brutal. Brutal shot right there. So Snapdragon suplex to the Best Friends. Looks like, it kind of looked like Chuck Taylor really dropped Kenny on his head. So Kenny, he was hitting some stiff shots on Chuck Taylor afterwards. Like, don't fucking drop me on my head. So, big powerbomb, V-trigger combination for a 2. Strong Zero was actually hit, and I thought the Best Friends were actually going to win the tag team titles right here. Strong Zero was hit, but Kenny saved the match. Then we had the Awful Waffle, which looked brutal on Kenny. Great move, terrible name. We had a Deadeye by Hangman. He hasn't brought out the Deadeye in a while. He hasn't brought out the Deadeye since probably his feud with Pac. So that was actually a very nice touch there from Hangman, and it really just goes to show you the severity of this match. And it really does make the Best Friends look a little bit better in the long run, because Hangman hasn't brought out the Deadeye in months, and here he brings it out against the Best Friends. So Trent was able to kick out. Kenny was taken out after the Awful Waffle. Hangman Page says, "Fuck this," buckshot lariat, and Kenny and Hangman retain the titles as I predicted. Great match here. And then afterwards, FTR actually was watching the match. They came out with some beers, and they decided, hey, gonna get some, and they gave them to Hangman. Of course Hangman's gonna accept. He's fucking Hangman Page. So gave them to Kenny, and then Kenny poured it out because he doesn't drink. Obviously, FTR did not take too kindly to that. The Young Bucks came out, and they were trying to explain, like, no, he doesn't drink. And it was a very nice visual to end Fyter Fest. And you can definitely start seeing the cracks form within Kenny and Hangman. And eventually that's going to come when they lose the titles. Obviously FTR, they're being built up very, very nicely in the tag team division. But as far as this goes, you can definitely see the tensions building with Hangman standing side by side with FTR. And Kenny standing side by side with the Young Bucks. That right there, that's a 6-man tag team match brewing in the near future. So, what I can definitely see happening, I can see Kenny and Hangman retaining against Private Party next week. And then I can see Kenny and Hangman going forth to face off against the Dark Order, possibly at All Out. And that's when Kenny and Hangman will eventually lose the tag team titles. That's when I can see Kenny and Hangman splitting up, and that's when I can see Hangman turning heel. Now, some people were saying that Kenny's going to turn heel. Now, based on what they've been doing and based on how they've been presenting it, Hangman seems like the one that's going to split, because Hangman has made it very clear he wants to split away from the Elite. Hangman doesn't want to be a part of the Elite anymore. He wants to branch out and do his own thing. They've been building that storyline since the end of 2019, where he hasn't been able to win the big one. Now he's finally been able to win the big one. Now he's one half of the tag team champions. They're the longest reigning tag team champions in AEW thus far. Hangman is on a monumentous babyface role. Hangman is on a monumentous babyface role. And, in a sense, even if they do turn him heel, he's still going to be cheered. He's still going to be cheered in a sense. Now, if they turn Kenny heel, he'd probably actually receive legitimate heel heat. It really is a toss-up, but based on what they've been doing, the build-up has been towards Hangman's heel turn because he wants to break away from the Elite, and the Elite are the biggest baby faces in AEW right now. And I thought this was a great tag team championship match. Very, very good. Excellent show. Excellent night one of Fyter Fest from top to bottom. And, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. I really don't want to judge a book by its cover, but night one, it's going to be very, very, very hard. It's going to be very, very, very hard for them to top night one. I think night one of Fyter Fest will go down as the better night, because you take a look at next week, you got some great matches. You got a great tag team championship match. Yeah, you got Lance Archer and Joey Janela. Yeah, you got Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. But ultimately, I don't know. To be quite honest, I really do think night one will go down as the superior night of Fyter Fest. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook, whatever. Send me an email, like the official DJ Storms business page. You already know the drill. I greatly appreciate it. Leave your comments down below what you thought of Fyter Fest Night 1. I will be reviewing NXT, the Great American Bash. I will set that to premiere actually tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff to do. Obviously, I got my online class. I actually have to get to work. I got work in a few hours. I got to get to work. I got to be unhusking this corn. We got a lot of people coming in for 4th of July. So the 4th of July paycheck, it's going to look very, very hefty. And that's always good news for me. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind for Fyter Fest night number 1. I greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys later.